when you are in the Himalaya and when you go to those serene places below those snow peaks, this is lifetime dream to be there. It's so wonderful to be there. Unless you are there, you'll never realize what you are missing.
One of Earth's extreme examples of beauty is the Himalaya. It is the planet's highest mountain range, with more than 50 peaks piercing the sky above 7,000 meters, or 23,000 feet. These include Earth's highest mountain, Everest in Nepal, and the second highest, K2 in Pakistan. The Himalaya is sometimes called the water tower of Asia. The many rivers flowing from the range, like the legendary Ganges River, sustain an amazing 45% of all the people on the entire planet. Yet, amidst this astounding beauty and bounty, there is also extreme danger. The very geologic forces that created the Himalaya are the same ones that can bring utter devastation in minutes. Earthquakes are a part of life in the Himalaya. Even so, the magnitude 7.8 Gorkha earthquake and its aftershocks devastated Nepal in 2015. More than 9,000 people lost their lives.
The Himalaya is considered to be one of the most seismically active parts on Earth. Many other places like Indonesia or Japan, or there are many other parts of the world where we have a lot of earthquakes, but Himalaya is one of them, very active seismically. And in history, if we go back, we have a lot of very large earthquakes killing a lot of people.
As tragic as it was, Nepal's Gorkha earthquake provided valuable data to seismologists and engineers. It confirmed that they were on the right track in understanding what causes so many earthquakes in the Himalaya region. And more urgently, where the earthquakes, called megaquakes when they are magnitude 8 or stronger, are most likely to occur in the future. The root cause of earthquakes here is buried deep below the surface, where two plates of the Earth's crust collide. The Indian plate is diving, or subducting, below the Asian plate. The Himalaya owes its existence to this collision of plates, which has thrust the mountains up in the course of 50 million years. But much of the time the plates are stuck, causing stress to build up where they meet. When stress becomes too great, the plates lurch abruptly in an earthquake. Each big earthquake refines scientific knowledge of this mysterious and extremely powerful force. Scientists also gather data by studying rock layers in the field and setting up GPS and seismic networks to monitor movement in the Earth's rocky crust below.
As we build up a record of where earthquakes happen, we get a sense of how frequently earthquakes recur on particular plate boundaries. And because we have the GPS monitoring to tell us how fast the plates are moving towards each other or past each other, we can find places where earthquakes haven't happened for hundreds of years now. And those are the places that are dangerous. Those are the places where large earthquakes are waiting to happen.
Large earthquakes mostly occur on the main Himalayan thrust fault. This fault has been mapped at the surface, running the entire length of the Himalaya in the foothills. The places where big earthquakes have not happened for centuries are called seismic gaps. Scientists are very worried about a gaping seismic gap in western Nepal. Here, the main Himalayan thrust fault runs under Pokhara, Nepal's second largest city. This segment has not seen a major quake since 1505.
In the last 500 years, in the western part, we don't have such a major earthquake. Therefore, there must have a lot of energy stored in that part of Nepal.
Pokhara is the hub of the most popular international trekking routes in Nepal. most buildings in this area were not designed to withstand earthquake shaking, meaning that a major quake here would have serious consequences. Another seismic gap, quiet since 1555, spans Jammu and Kashmir. It is near where a massive trembler struck in 2005. The 7.6 magnitude Kashmir quake killed 86,000 people across Kashmir, Pakistan, and India. Toward the eastern end of the Himalaya, another major seismic gap takes in the country of Bhutan. A huge earthquake hasn't directly struck in Bhutan since 1713. The majority of buildings here were not built to withstand a big quake's impact. But in the late 1990s, building codes were enacted that require new buildings in some areas to be earthquake resistant. Bhutan is also planning to install special new earthquake desks in the nation's schools. The desks would give a little extra protection to students during an earthquake, since standard desks give essentially none. Engineers consider this only a temporary measure. Properly strengthening schools and other buildings is a much better way to defend against earthquakes. This school in neighboring Nepal was strengthened or retrofitted before the Gorkha quake struck. Unfortunately, 5,000 non-retrofitted schools collapsed, forcing classrooms into temporary structures. Nepal was actually lucky this time. The Gorkha earthquake happened on a weekend when children were not in school. Retrofitting buildings is one critical way to reduce the danger of earthquakes in the Himalaya. There are other ways, like enacting and enforcing strong building codes. Meanwhile, Earth scientists continue to pinpoint the most dangerous places with greater accuracy. With time and the will, the dangers that come with living in the world's most extreme geological land can be reduced extremely.
We had earthquake in 2015, and we all have earthquake of this type in the future as well. Therefore, there is tremendously huge force which is all the time here in the Himalaya, and we should do everything understanding the force of the nature, force of the Himalaya.